What do you do when you have pupils with emotional and behavioural difficulties, who won't engage with you or your lessons? Pupils who truant and whose out-of-school activities are a definite barrier to learning. What if these pupils are from ethnic minority groups and prove even harder to reach? In 1998, Children's Services in Tower Hamlets, East London, identified a significant lack of services for Bangladeshi teenagers in the mental health arena. And so, the Multi-Agency Preventative Project, or MAP, was formed. Its goal is to put support in place both in and out of school to prevent mental and emotional health problems from developing. Marion Spears has been a youth worker on the MAP team for 10 months.
Tower Hamlets is a diverse borough with a lot of poverty and affluence in the same borough. There's also a large ethnic minority community. There's like a severe housing shortage, there's high unemployment, a lot of drug misuse, a lot of street crime, and there's also like racial tensions between the ethnic groups within the borough. I think that a lot of young people get involved in crime and drugs in this area because of sort of lack of facilities that are relevant to their needs, as well as a lot of these young people are sort of second generation, so there's problems with the kind of leading a double life, and also the fact that there's not many sort of options for them when they leave school. So I think that that leads to like a sense of apathy where they don't really know what their choices are in life.
The MAP team comprises a project manager, 2 social workers, 4 youth workers and 2 clinical psychologists. Taking a multi-agency approach is vital to their work, as each team member is able to offer a different approach to the teenagers, depending on exactly what problems they face.
We work in 6 different schools within Tower Hamlets, and the schools basically refer a young person for a number of issues. It could be anything from risk of underachievement to risk of exclusion to they could be withdrawn, depressed, anxious, suspected of being involved in drugs or bullying or being bullied or involved in gang violence, and it could really be around any issue that the school are concerned about.
Marion works closely with the pupils at Bow School. The link teacher here, responsible for referring pupils to MAP, is John Ryder.
The MAP team are able to provide the sorts of support that teachers aren't necessarily always able to provide because simply there's a very different relationship between teachers and students. The MAP workers are able to talk to students about their difficulties, perhaps even with members of staff, and some of the students they work with do have difficulties with members of staff for a variety of different reasons.
Marion and John are meeting today to discuss some new pupils that John would like to put forward for referral. Marion will also meet with 2 of her existing teenage clients.
There's a group of boys in Year 10 that we're concerned about at the moment. They're involved with lots of lesson truancy. They generally come into school and getting a mark, but actually getting to lessons is the problem. And we're concerned about what they're up to around the building when they're not in their classes.
And have you had any reports from the police or anything about them or not?
They had been picked up by the truancy patrol and brought back into school, and that's becoming a bit of a regular occurrence, really.
So do you think that these boys would be suitable referrals for MAP?
I do think so. They're not beyond hope. Certainly they're students that are very able, very bright, which is one of the reasons why we're so concerned about them. They're students that are potentially 5A-C candidates at GCSE, but they're just very disaffected, and relationships with key members of staff are breaking down. So at the moment they're really falling short.
So what's the next move? Where do I go? Where do I stay? Where do I work? Where do I rest? Where do I play? It feels as though I've been up in this gridlock for days. Still I'm hoping that this shit stops, but hey.
I was referred to MAP team because I had bad attendance, and I kind of got mixed up with the wrong things. So I started to bunk lessons, I started to miss school a lot, and I was missing a lot of work. In class, I've lost a lot of focus, and it's just my overall concentration in lessons, what the teacher's saying. I'm always getting distracted, I've got other things on my mind, and all I can really think of is my life outside school.
Right, today we're just going to look at labels and what sort of labels you give yourself and what labels you give other people and what labels you think other people give you, okay? I want you to have a look at these words and choose the 5 words that you think describe you the best. Obviously, identity is a major part of anybody, and how somebody presents to the rest of the world is important. If they are portraying their identity as negative or in a way that other people perceive as negative, they can be treated in a different way, or they could lessen their life chances. What words have you chosen?
I've chosen teenager, Londoner, non-religious, Asian, and Bo. Bo is because this is the area I've grown up in. Everything I've learned has always been from here. Asian, one thing that's important to Asians is respect. That's one of the basic foundations to a family. If you don't have respect, your family it's nothing.
And why would you identify yourself as non-religious?
Non-religious because I'm not as religious as I would like to be. I do things that maybe I shouldn't do. Teenager because I'm a teenager, innit?
What do you think is important about being a teenager?
Well, being a teenager, I think this is really the crucial bit of your entire life, because this is where you either make or break. I think that's when you really get to know yourself, because that's when different situations, different responsibilities come to you, and how you react to them shows you your character, the type of person you are, this and that. Okay. And Londoner, because I'm a Londoner, innit? From London, straight up.
What about if I was to ask a teacher to describe you in 3 words? What words do you think they would choose?
Yeah, some teachers would label me as a gang member or a gang leader or something.
Okay.
Non-practicing Muslim. Yeah, teenager.
So why do you think that some teachers would describe you as like a non-practicing Muslim teenager gang member? Why do you think they would use these specific words to describe you?
Gang member is because I ain't got a clue. They just have this idea that I get involved in them sort of things. I don't know where they get the idea from. To be a gang, you have to be a group of people with a purpose. It could be to sell drugs or whatever, but it has to be a group of people with a purpose. But the way I see myself, I'm just surrounded by friends, and we just doing our own thing. And I think that's the difference between how I see myself and how some teachers may see me and the activities that I get up to. One thing about the sessions is I can express the way I feel and the way that my mind state is at that moment completely, without any thoughts that well, if I say this might happen. I have no thoughts like that. I could just express myself completely. In school, generally I don't tend to trust teachers that much. But one thing about Marion, because I have confidence in her, I could just tell her anything and she'll just talk me through it, help, just give me the sort of advice that I need when I need it. And it's just generally whenever I have problems, all I have to do, I could just give her a text message and she'll get back to me. And then the help is there. It's opened my eyes a little bit more. I tend to think about things a lot more. And yeah, that's how it's helped.
It's deadly serious, yo. When we get in the game, it will get deadly serious. You'll be feeling us, not just hearing us. The time is nearing, trust, prepare for us. It's clear to us there's not enough space here to us.
We're just going to play a game about communication. So you've got a picture, which I don't know what it is, and you're going to have to describe to me as accurately as you can what the picture is on your piece of paper, and I'm going to draw it on my piece of paper, and at the end we're going to see if they look anything the same, okay?
Draw a line.
Going up or down?
Up.
Right. Okay. Now what?
Another line on top of it.
On top of it. I found that one of Raju's difficulties is communicating and getting his point across, and I feel that communication is going to be something that I'm going to work on in the future with Raju, being able to express himself better and make himself better understood. Raju was mainly referred for underachieving. His attendance and punctuality are okay. He's just quite disengaged from school. He's not particularly interested in it, and he doesn't take part in the lessons the way he should, really. Is that it? Let me see your picture.
What's wrong?
Okay. So is there anything that's similar about them? Which bit? Which bit's right?
It's that bit.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them wrong.
Now this just proves how difficult it is to actually communicate with people. One person can be saying one thing and the other person can be thinking something completely different. You thought you were giving me good directions and I heard you completely different. Sometimes when you're talking to people, you think you've explained something to them properly and they haven't understood at all what you mean. And also if you're trying to explain something to somebody else, they haven't understood what you mean. So both people go away thinking different things and thinking that the situation's not how it is.
By working with Raju on a weekly basis, Marion hopes to improve his communication and engage him in his education.
Tell me something about your behaviour in lessons.
And teachers tell you to do your work when you ignore them or something.
Okay, what could the teachers do differently that would make you want to stay in the class?
Help you or something.
Okay.
Probably if they help you, you probably will know what to do.
So you think that the main reason that you misbehave is because you don't understand what you have to do, and if the teachers explained it better, you would behave better.
Between Marion and me, secret, whatever I say to her, she'll keep a secret. She won't tell no one, only if she have to, if it's something serious.
The MAP team feeds back all sorts of different information to us about the young people they work with. A lot of their information is confidential, and we're happy for that to be the case, simply because the young person feels that they can talk in confidence to a member of a team who isn't a school employee. In addition, they also feed back information that would be useful to supporting a student in school. So, for example, if there are problems with attendance, to lessons, things like that, we're able to respond either by placing a child on report or bringing them into a learning support unit or using other interventions that we have in school. I think both boys are doing much better.
Really?
I think,
That's good.
I think Tessin is certainly much more engaged with his studies. He seems to be motivated and he's completed his coursework, which is really important, obviously, at this stage.
His attendance, I think, is definitely improved.
His attendance is better. It's not perfect. I think there's still times when peer pressure, it becomes too much for him and he ends up truanting, to be quite honest with you. But certainly a lot better than it was. And Raju is, I don't think he's missed a day for 6 or 7 weeks, which is brilliant. He's certainly a lot more engaged around the school.
Good.
That's for definite. And his form tutor has commented actually on how much happier he seems.
Excellent.
So I think he's doing really well. How's he been in your sessions?
He's been a lot better. The first session he was very quiet. He didn't open up, and in the last couple of sessions he's been a lot more open.
What are your plans for the next few weeks with them?
I'm going to carry on working with Tessin up until Easter and then review his my involvement with him, because I feel that because he's about to do his GCSEs that he's going to be quite busy. And with Raju, obviously I've just started to work with him, so we're going to be looking at issues around communication and his identity and around his kind of aims and objectives and what he wants to do.
The school as a whole has benefited because it's enabled us to reach out to a group of students that perhaps we as teachers aren't skilled enough to work with, or not skilled in that way, and those students are included and are part of our school community and will remain so because of the ongoing work that MAP does.